Peter Franklin is the Gabby Cabby in New York City. Peter, good morning, good morning.
Good morning, live from the beautiful streets of New York.
So tonight is the big State of the Union, and it's got to feel a little special for New York because, you know, New York City and Trump is everywhere, and it's the president giving the State of the Union tonight.
Yeah, but you know, it's a funny kind of a thing. Most people have sort of forgot that he is a real New Yorker, in the sense you don't really hear that aspect of it being discussed, you know, sort of our president specifically or anything. So I don't know that really has much bearing on anymore. People are just terrified that he's going to come here and screw up the traffic.
That does happen anytime the president or even the vice president comes. So how about the woman who has filed suit against the New York City Police Department alleging that a vicious horse bit her on the arm while she was trying to just peacefully look at the Christmas tree at Rockefeller Center?
Yeah, well, my credentials for discussing this particular story is, believe it or not, this cab driver happens to also be quite capable of riding horses, and I've done that many, 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 many times. And it never ceases to amaze me how there'll be a cop on a horse, which is like 9 feet tall, standing on the street, and somebody from some out of town or even in town walks over to the horse and starts petting it. And it's nice, I guess, in a fairy tale kind of a way, but I'm thinking to myself, that's dangerous.
Yeah,
you really shouldn't do it unless you know how to present your hand, what's in your hand. Is the officer aware of the fact that you do it? Anyway, my bottom line suggestion is stay away from the horses.
Yeah.
Look at them. They're pretty. But anyway, this lady did.
Yeah.
And to add insult to injury, after the horse bit the lady, cop didn't even dismount and get down and say, "Oh, you poor dear, can I help you, see if you're bleeding or something?" She kind of shrugged her shoulders and rode off. So I think that's probably half the reason there's a lawsuit now against the city, because if the cop had finally said, "Oh, my poor dear, I'm sorry, blah, blah, blah," it might have escalated to this. She's going to get a bunch of money on that.
Where's she from, by the way?
Your town.
Oh, so she's an out-of-towner.
She's your next-door neighbor.
Yeah.
No, I actually don't know. What do I look like, a real news broadcaster?
She'll be putting a new roof on the house. There's no doubt.
While we're giving out advice, can I suggest you don't pet the canines either?
See, that's another example of fake news. I just made up the whole horse story. I didn't. It's true. It's true.
I want to stay with lawsuits, and there's a resident in the West Village who's suing her upstairs neighbor. And if you've ever lived in an apartment, you know that noise upstairs can always be an issue, but apparently she's suing for $5 million because of her kids, the pitter-pattering of the kids upstairs.
Yeah, I don't know if it's pitter-pattering. It's probably light noise. It's the endless and probably the number one dispute in apartments. And I realize a number of your nice listeners, although the percentage might be small, live in apartments. It can be a living hell, even in luxury buildings, even in expensive buildings. If the people upstairs don't have carpeting, the people downstairs don't have carpeting, it presents a lot of conflicts. This, of course, is escalated into the news because of the amount of money involved. It's a silly figure. She's never going to get it, but it's drawn enough attention to it. Actually, there is a law in New York City that says you have to carpet your apartment.
You have to? Oh, you do? Because of the noise on the upper floors.
Yeah, and it comes from not only... boy, your fresh air is killing me.
Yeah,
not only is it's coming from downstairs and upstairs and side stairs and everything. I'm not complaining because we happen to live in a lovely building and we don't have any problem, but I can understand this lady. You get to hate kids pretty quickly.
What is so? Mayor de Blasio has a brand new idea to prevent loitering, especially with the homeless, and it involves spikes. What is this? Yeah,
okay. You've probably seen these fire hose connections where the fire department, when it shows up at a place, in addition to attaching their hoses to the hydrants, they also attach it to these things that are... There's a picture of it on my website, Gabby.com. But anyway, so they don't want people sitting on them as if you could knock one over, which is ridiculous.
Right.
So he's putting spikes. So if you sit down, it's going to hurt your tushy.
Oh.
And it's kind of mean-spirited for, a liberal. I didn't think liberals do that.
I do have to say that in New York, whenever you have the steel fences, oftentimes there are these little grids that go along, and they're spiky grids, and it prevents people from sitting up on the concrete ledge. I never knew that's what it was for, but that must be what it's for, right?
Yeah, that's exactly. And to me, that's a mean-spirited person.
Yeah, I mean, let him
if
sit there.
you're building a building or making a park or doing something or other, I think it's your obligation, especially in a city like New York, where nobody has a car, okay, that be able to sit down. What's the harm? I mean, the thing you're sitting on is made out of concrete and steel. You're not going to break it.
And you are going at the New York Daily News. This is a South Korean, North Korean story. What happened?
Well, they ran a picture on the front page of what a typical resort looks like in North Korea. And, I mean, it's just horrendous. I mean, by the way, I'm not a fan of North Korea. I have no intention of retiring there in my twilight years. But, now that North Korea seems to be talking to South Korea, and South Korea is talking to North Korea, I think this is the worst time that this week the Daily News is making fun of North Korea. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff you can make fun of them, but the picture, take a look at it. It's at Gabby.com. It's really just it's a terrible picture to be running.
The other thing, and you know who got in trouble was what's his name from NBC? A little bit of heat because
Lester Holt. Yeah.
He was showing people were skiing and showing this beautiful version of North Korea, and everybody criticized, saying, "Well, of course that you see that, but that's all staged." And so. Interesting.
Well, you can see the opposite by looking at the website.
Okay, it'll be very interesting to see how much the president talks about North Korea tonight. All right, Peter, it's Gabby.com, best tour in New York City. Check it out on the website. We'll talk again next week.
You got it, sweetheart.
Got a break at WIBX.